Hello, everybody! I'm Ramsis.
And I'm the Vesper.
And we're here for a special edition of our retro review tier ranking systems. We are looking at retro-based holiday gifts that both Vespor and Ramsis have received over the years as wee little lads all the way up to the retro period, which is the early 2000s. These are all the gifts as kids, teenagers, college that we got from family, friends, co-workers, relatives that we didn't even know, people we don't even know. Just every gift we could think of retro-wise, and we are going to rank them for this holiday season on what we think was the great stuff we used to get and what was just the what were they thinking, this is horrible, why are you giving me this as a gift type of gifts.
That's right. All just in time for the holidays, because after all, this list is for young and old, because every year we get things that we love, and we get things that we're like, you know, it could have been a better gift if you would have just walked down to that other store and bought me, you know, the actual item instead of being lazy and buying me a gift card so I had to go buy it myself.
Yes, everything on here fits one way or the other, except for the good stuff. There are so many good categories, but the bad stuff, it's like, really, you couldn't walk that extra little bit there just to get something a little more appropriate for 8-year-old Ramses here, or 12-year-old Vesper, or whatever the gift may be. I mean, it's so silly when you look back at it, but it's very cool. I think this is going to be very telling to see what both of us thought were good gifts we got by family and friends and what are just horrible gifts. And now, I'm going to disclose that me and Vesper work very hard to get gifts for each other, and sometimes we've gotten the duds. You know, we already had something, or, oh, we were in a rush, we got something, but we're pretty good with the gifts we get, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take a little time, get something fun, get something that you know they'll like. Does it always work? No, but I think our history in 20 years, we've done pretty well, Vesper.
That's right. So let's go ahead and remind all of those wonderful people out there this wonderful holiday season. Like, comment, subscribe, and
ring that bell, because we have a lot more tier lists on the way, but we're doing our special holiday version this time, and I think you're all going to enjoy this. And if you have any other holiday-based ones you want us to do, we'll add it to our next year's. Keep them coming. Feedback always welcome. All right, let's get it started. No time like the present to talk about the past. All right, so first on the list, we have books. And this is a very interesting category, Vesper, because my aunt did this one year and didn't know what to get anybody. So she ran to Barnes & Noble. I think it might have even been Borders. Like I said, this is retro gifts. And she pretty much just bought everyone something from the bookstore. And I'm not kidding. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. She bought everyone something from the bookstore. She got me a book that was okay. Yeah, books, you think I'm saying books are bad. They're not. It was an okay book. I think it was video game related, actually. Or, actually, no, it was Transformers related. I do remember that. It was a Transformers related book. It was cool. But then she, like, got my brother something ridiculous. She got, like, a bookmark or something. So books are that interesting category. Books are only good if you are actually getting a book that is going to be enjoyable. I've gotten some pretty good books. I got video game-based one. I've gotten Harry Potter. Harry Potter is great. I've gotten toy-related ones. I love that stuff. I've gotten history ones. But then when you get the books that, like, what are you getting me this? Like, I'm not going to read this. You know, like a weird science book that you're never going to look at. Kids used to always get educational books. No, but when I got Sesame Street books, and this is a true story, when I got Sesame Street books, I loved them. You know, I still have a very big collection of Sesame Street books. I love that stuff. Comic books are always fun. I'm going to consider that books. Graphic novels are always great. So when it's the right books, it hits just right. But when it is the ridiculous, I couldn't think of anything to get you book, please don't bother. No one wants that crap, really.
my experience with books are similar to yours in the fact that most of the time, I was an avid reader when I was younger and got the books that I wanted to read, and I absolutely loved it. But my grandparents, they would always buy me when I was younger, like the historical school type books, you know. Let's read about President blah, insert president that died over 100 and some years ago before Abraham Lincoln. So I'm like, it's not about George Washington. I've never heard of this dude. Who is this? And I, as a younger kid, did not like those books because they weren't fun. And you're going to figure out very soon that what I consider and love about my Christmas gifts is that they are fun. I want fun Christmas gifts. So I have a lot of good memories of books, but also some bad ones.
All right, so this is an interesting category. When the books hit, they hit. I will never say a book is S because I just don't consider it an S gift. I think it's great, and there's many books I love, The problem with books, though, is once you're done with it, it sort of just sits there and you forget about it. You have books that you probably don't even remember you got as gifts, and books seems like the simple, oh, I couldn't think of anything, here goes a book. When it hits, but it's never going to be an S category books. I never am like, oh boy, a book. I'll be like, oh cool, a book. So that's not S tier, but it's not F either. Definitely not. When you get a good book, it's fun. So it's going to be C or above, for me at least, and I think it's over C, honestly. But I'm going to let Vespor discuss this a little more. Let's see what he thinks.
I honestly think that you are correct. Me, I enjoyed seeing the books once they started buying books, because, like Ramsey said about us, we always talk to each other, give each other plenty of ideas. My family was always good, when I got a little bit older, right? Not when I was younger, about checking and say, well, what are you interested in? So for me, I think fondly of books. I do agree with Ramses. I don't think this is an average gift because I actually look forward to it. So I would say a B. I could see a strong B for good books.
I'm going to say yes because there's crappy books and there's good books. We've gotten our fill of both. But when they hit, they hit. It's fun. You're always going to look through it. It's not like it's something you're just going to put to the side like some of the other categories on here. So I think B+, and that goes in our B category. I think that's a fair ranking for books. And this is books, good and bad. We rank, there's the whole category of books. And I think it's pretty good.
So now moving on to our next one that we're going to rank. It's going to be bad clothing. You're going to be like, well, Vespor, Ramses, why did you just not put clothing? Well, we felt that this category needed to be split in two because bad clothing was so truly and utterly bad that it could lower all of your good clothing, just put it at a level that it shouldn't be, so we separated it. And for those that say bad clothing or subpar toys, we're going to rate how bad these actually were. Are they Fs? Are they Ds? Are they even Cs? It's possible. We don't know. And I'm going to say, oh my god, I hated bad clothing. What was bad clothing? Once again, parents, family members, uncles, aunts, they would love to send me clothes, but what type of clothes would they send me? Would they send me fun school clothes? No. They sent me dress-up clothes. And we're not talking like Sunday school clothes. We're talking like the step right above it. That's like, it's great for Sunday school. It's great for formal outings. But in truth, they ended up just becoming Sunday school clothes for me. Going through my closet many, many years back, I threw out so much of this stuff because it looked bad. Like stripes or pinstripes. I'm like, oh my god, why would you buy this for a 10-year-old kid? Why am I getting dress clothes? And to me, that was the worst type of clothes.
My bad clothes is different than Ves's bad clothes. I didn't get that type of stuff as gifts. What I got is sweaters that I'm never going to wear. My grandma used to love shopping at Alexander's. It's a local chain that was in New York at the time when I was a kid. Alexander's. And she would always just buy the most ridiculous sweaters. I'm not a sweater person. I was a sweatshirt person, but I was never a sweater person. Whenever you buy practical clothing, my parents did this too. I remember they bought me boots. All right, well, snow boots are nice, but it's not what I want for the holidays. It's nice to get snow boots. They're very useful, but I don't want that as a gift. It's like, really? You're getting me snow boots that I'm going to wear to school as a holiday gift? Like, really? This is the best you could do. And any heavy clothes, like I got a winter jacket once. Like, well, yes, I need a winter jacket, but does that really count as a holiday gift, or is it something you had to buy me anyway? So I see bad clothes as that catch-all. Well, we have to buy it anyway. We'll throw that in as a gift, and the kid has no choice to wear it, or it's just going to sit in the closet and collect dust. And then there's the horrible t-shirts with characters you don't like, logos on it that you don't like. Like, I can't remember how many times I got shirts of things I will never, ever, ever wear. Anyone that knows me knows the type of stuff I like. I am not going to wear ridiculous logos. Like, you have to know the person you're getting a little bit. So that's the type of bad clothing I got. And it's the gifts where you open that box with the paper in it and you're like, goodbye, you don't want it.
And since Ramses was the last to give his opinion, where are you rating it on here?
I'm putting it as an F. I really, it is F. Bad clothing was such a wasted gift. Oh boy, snow boots. Oh boy, mittens. Oh boy, a sweater I'm not going to wear. You might as well just give me the paper the box came in, because that's more useful than the clothes. It's a wasted gift. It's an F to me. There's no point in bad clothing. Like, you think you're going to change my style. You think you're going to get me practical clothing. No, you're wasting my time. You're wasting everyone's time. It is an F. I hate it, hate it, hate it.
I am actually going to agree with Ramses, because to me, the type of clothes I got was directed almost entirely at other occasions. And that being said, I definitely would rate this as an F. Not an F minus. I do think on our list to come that there are some things that are most definitely F minuses. This is just solidly in the middle. If you got bad clothing, it was just a bad gift.
Now comes an interesting category, because you would think like food. That's next on our list here, food. What does that mean exactly? Food is what it means. It could be candy, it could be Christmas or holiday themed. It could be those things you find in the stockings, you know, all those little nice little snacks and trinkets and chocolates and all that stuff. Food, just anything edible, consumable that is related to getting something to the holiday. It doesn't have to be holiday food per se, but it usually was holiday themed in one way or the other. And I'm going to go into this because, yes, that has happened to me too. You know, it seems like the extra throw-in gift is always chocolate, candy, stocking stuffers, you know, just real little like, oh, it's not enough, I gotta get you something else. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with giving little Ramses some lollipops. I love the, you know, the push pops, and I love the candy bars. I'm not as big a fan of that stuff now as I've gotten older, but as a kid, yeah, I love getting that stuff. So I didn't mind candy. I didn't mind food. You know, it's fun to get extra, but these are always extra gifts. If you're giving me a fruitcake as a gift, which no one ever has, by the way, I've been very lucky in that, then that is like an F, and that's never happened to me, so it's food is not going to get a better ranking for me. But if you give me fun stuff that it's like, oh boy, look at this, you know, that's cool. And sometimes it was even themed to like Nintendo. You get like Nintendo themed stuff, or you would get, you know, your favorite character somehow based into stuff. So food can work. Food is actually a fun gift. I don't think it's top tier just because it's a perishable. You know, once you eat it, it's gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. And it's such a wasted, like, throwaway. As an extra, though, I think it's good. I think it's a good compliment to good gifts when you're throwing in, oh, I didn't get enough, I want to make some more fun for them to have. You know, it's kind of like that extra little treat that keeps on giving.
My experiences with food were actually a lot more common than Ramsey's due to my parents' jobs. So their coworkers would send fruit to everybody in the family. Fruit, oranges, bananas, apples. We had an orchard growing up. So I had fruit coming out the ears. I didn't need more fruit. And every time I saw that type of food, it just ruined it. But thankfully, my parents and my family understood something that I worshipped as a kid, and that is chocolate. So I got like Reese's, I got Hershey's, I got Snickers, Three Musketeers. I wouldn't say no to a Milky Way, not my favorite, but that being said, it was always a compliment, and my parents, God love when I was younger, would get me stocking stuffers of candy, and for the most part, it was just a great little addition to it. I never got a fruitcake until much, much later in life, and I tell you what, it was a terrible experience.
All right, so that was our thoughts on food. So now, Vesper, it's your turn to give your initial thoughts on where should we rank this.
I absolutely agree with you that as long as the food is not the primary gift, but like a card maybe and some candy or something with that, that is perfectly fine. To me, the card is very important, but food needs to be an extra, not the primary gift. That being said, to me, it fell just in the same category as books, because with books, once you read them, you gotta wait years before you can read them again and enjoy them. Candy, you can enjoy them once and you're done, but it still brought a big smile to my face, and I would still actually give this one not a B plus or minus, but a solid B. That's where I would rate mine at.
Now, I would rank it C plus, and I would rank it C plus only because I think it's a less practical gift. I think like you're throwing on a perishable that you finish off so quickly. It's like, well, gee, thanks for the candy bar or the lollipop, but you know, is that really a gift? No, it's an extra. But since he gives it a B, I give it a C plus. That means it is a B minus. That is our compromise. Yes. So this is going to get a B minus because again, the rules of our retro ranking tier system here that we do on Vespor Review is we must be in agreement, and when not, it gets averaged out. So we're very close. It's going to get a B minus. Yes, it is going to get a B minus.
And I do agree with it being below books, because books, I've gone back and read books, but it usually takes a long amount of time. But I would never say no to some good candy bars or something chocolatey or fun or cookies or something for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. It's a thought that counts, and it's always fun. And now we're going to get to a very, very fun category where I think both Vester and myself have experienced this many times when relatives are trying, and that's the key word, trying to get you something they think you like, but do they go to Toys R Us or your local department store? No. They go to the flea market or some fly-by-night stand and get you, well, Vester's going to talk about what our Subpar Toys is all about.
You wanted Optimus Prime for your Christmas gift. Well, you got Leader 1. We're talking the not quite as good gifts. Or you wanted G.I. Joe and you got My Buddy.
Oh, no.
So, what we're talking about are toys that were not exactly up to snuff. There is, and still is, a great deal of difference between a mainline toy made by a major company and something made in China. You know, you get, for example, Bumblebee in America, and in China you get the Wasp. They look the same, but not quite. And the fun is not exactly there because you want Bumblebee. You're going to meet your friends after school or on the weekend. Hey guys, let's play Transformers. Jimmy, what are you bringing? I'm bringing Ironhide. Tommy, what are you bringing? Oh, I'm bringing Ratchet. Well, I've got the Wasp. And they all look at you going,
What?
Who's the Wasp? And it was just one of those things that it literally saved the people who bought you these gifts $1 or $2 less to get these. And I never once accepted or enjoyed these Subpar toys only because of the fact that they usually broke easier the more you played with them. The Wasp doesn't exactly transform very well, so you had to put that little bit of extra force in there and broke off his arm or leg or a head.
All right, Vespor, I've gotten more than my fair share of Subpar toys. You know, it's amazing how many clones and knockoffs and horrible versions of popular toys there are out there, but somehow I got a lot of them. I remember even like simple things like Hot Wheels and Matchbox, you would get the cheap plastic ones. You wouldn't get the metal one, you get the plastic cars. I'm like, what is this nonsense? This is ridiculous. You get action figures that are similar to Transformers, and not even GoBots, but like knockoff weird brands. Like, these aren't Insecticons, they're Insectabots or something. Like, where did these come from? Or you get just weird Radio Shack toys that are weird versions of toys. You get things from flea markets that you know that they put zero effort into. Here you go, Ramsis, enjoy this thing. And you're like, why would I want this? It's stupid. Yeah, so these are the zero effort, cheap as can be. Let's save some money. They won't know the difference. Oh, they like this stuff. Well, I'm going to save $10 by getting the knockoff version. No, parents, relatives. Friends never did that stuff, by the way. It was always relatives that did this nonsense. Friends never got...
I totally agree with
yes.
you. My friends never went cheap on that.
No, it was always relatives who just didn't get it. And these things would just sit in a box or throw it out. Honestly, I don't throw many things out. Subpar toys were thrown out. There's no point in saving just ridiculous knockoffs of bad toys. And there was some name brand bad stuff. Like we mentioned My Buddy. Anyone that got a My Buddy, you were made fun of in school. We already mentioned this in one of our back in times. You didn't want a My Buddy. You didn't want the Food Warriors. That was another toy line. You didn't want all these ridiculous toy lines that failed. You didn't want toys that weren't popular, that were bombing. You didn't want this stuff. But somehow, some relative said, oh boy, discount, here you go. Fake wrestlers, fake action figures, fake cars. No, it's just garbage. Now, I don't even know if this is F, though. I know as weird as it is, it might not be an F. This might actually be a D, because sometimes, and this is rare, but sometimes Subpar toys aren't the worst. You get some real interesting knockoffs. You get some really interesting variations. So let's see what Vespor thinks about Subpar toys.
Well, you already gave my thoughts on it because I've had some fun with some Subpar toys. And I didn't like getting them, but did I have that loathing of getting bad clothing with the Subpar toys? No, I didn't, because I could still play with them. They always broke, inevitably, but some of my favorite toys actually were Subpar. But that being said, it was like 1 out of 100. You know, the knockoff G.I. Joes, you just move their arms or legs just right.
The rubber bands broke.
And it broke instantly. Yeah. But that being said, I do agree with Ramses. And believe it or not, I haven't had a plus or a minus here yet. I think it's a solid D because you can still have fun and it didn't ruin your Christmas like getting bad clothing.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a D. I mean, F is bad clothing. Bad clothing, you throw that stuff like in the never to see again. Subpar toys, most sucked. But you always looked at them. You always analyzed them. You always gave them a chance. You're always like, well, can I make use of this? Well, is this... And sometimes you could, and sometimes it was garbage. You know, I remember I got a very cool slot machine transformer as a Subpar toy, and that was one of those crappy Radio Shack toys I was just telling you about. Someone bought it. It was a transformer slot machine, and it had a working slot machine. I thought that was a cool toy. Subpar, yes, and it's probably lost to the ages now, but fun for what it is.
That also being said, the kids of the 80s and 90s was a fact that we also occasionally got a bicycle for Christmas. And so, Ramses, what was your experiences with that?
And I've gotten more than my fair share of bicycles. And bicycles are that amazing, oh boy, it's a bicycle. You know, it's always very cool. It's never wrapped up. They just sort of like push it into the room when it's ready. Here you go, Ramses, here's your bicycle. It's great. Every kid wants a bicycle. Now, as adults, we're like, oh, who wants a bicycle? Even though should be a great sport for adults too. But back then, there was nothing more special than getting a bicycle. And bicycles have gotten better and better and better even as we were growing up. You know, it started out with the regular BMX bikes, and then became the speed bikes, and then became the more professional bikes. So I must have gotten 3 or 4 bicycles in my life for a holiday or a gift. I loved it every time. It was great. Every time you got the bicycle, you would meet up with your friends. Yeah, look at the bicycle I just got. And then, of course, another friend also got a bicycle, because that was like such a high-tier gift. Like, I'm getting little Jimmy the bicycle. He was gonna love it. They had all the little switches and gimmicks and stuff on it, a good quality. Sometimes they would even let me pick it out to make sure I liked it, so it wasn't a surprise always, but at least you knew, oh boy, they're gonna get me this bicycle. Yeah, I think bicycle is one of the great gifts, because it's something as a kid you can use for transportation. It's good exercise. You can show it off. You can have fun with it. You can go places you couldn't normally go. It's a high-tier gift. You loved getting a bicycle as a kid. And it sucks that it does not have the same effect as we get older, because, you know, once you reach like past a certain age, you don't want a bike anymore, you want a car. So bicycles, when they're special, hit just perfectly as a gift.
I'm going to say that Ramses is completely right. I got 3 bicycles in my younger days, each for whenever I got to a certain size. And they went from this simple little bike with training wheels all the way up to the mountain bikes with multiple gears that I still have. I just need to buy new wheels for it, because that was the last bike I got whenever I was like 16. So it was one that I rode a lot, because where I grew up in the mountains, so went on trails and other things with it. Destroyed the wheels, but I absolutely loved seeing them. And they were an expensive gift, so you didn't see many bikes. Unlike in every single holiday special, where everybody's getting a new bike every year, I'm like, holy crap, they must be millionaires, because bikes are not cheap, especially if you get a good bike. But every time you saw a bike, that was awesome, because where I grew up, every one of my friends had a bike. And guess what? We rode bikes a lot. It was just a thing. You lived on your bike when you were a kid. But it also meant something else. I do remember specifically the years that I got a bicycle. I didn't get much candy or many video games or any other things I wanted due to the price, but you know what? It was still a great gift, and because of that, this is not an S-tier gift, although it is definitely S-tier in price, but receiving a bike, for me, I would give it literally another solid A. I don't see this as a plus or a minus. I see it being clearly strong in the center with this. What do you think, Ramsey?
I'm going to give it an A. I don't think it's S either, because bicycles sort of lose that luster after a while. You'll still always use it, but it's not as special as some of the other stuff. We do have some S's on this list, and we'll get to that, but it is not bicycle. Bicycle is an A. It's a solid A. It's definitely an A, and I'm going to put it on there right now so we can cement that decision. Yeah, bicycle is an A, and why is it an A? It's a special gift. It's important that every kid has a bike. You're going to have more than one bike in your life. They're going to keep getting better as you get older. It's a gift that you always look forward to getting. It's a practical gift also, because every kid needs one. It's not the, oh boy, this is the best thing ever, but it's, oh, yes, I got a bicycle. This is great. Woohoo, I can't wait to use it. It's that type of gift, and it hits that A spot just perfectly. Now comes something that I think is going to rank very high, because yes, there are bad electronics, but the good ones are so good. And I think this is the reason why me and Vespor are actually doing this, because of our growing up with electronics. So electronics, you know, I remember so many electronics I wanted. I got a portable TV called the Watchman, and I told Vespor I had this before. It was pretty much a Walkman just for TV. That I got once for Christmas. A video camera. I've been begging and begging. Can I please have a video camera? Finally, my parents bought one. It was great. It worked with regular VHS tapes. It was awesome. I loved it.
Those were like the top of the line back then too.
Oh, I was begging for it. They saved up a lot for that. And I loved that camera. It obviously doesn't work now because of VHS, but I loved the camera. That was like attached to me. And then a VCR. I remember one year, my parents bought me a card. I opened it up, and it showed a picture. I'm like, what is this? And they said, look at it. And I read, it was the VCR they ordered. And I think it was from Service Merchandise, and that's why they didn't have it yet. And I was screaming, you know how some kids get excited about, oh, this system, that system. I got excited about a VCR. I loved my VCR. I made so many mixtapes out of it. And speaking of mixtapes, I remember getting one of those double cassette player ones for Christmas and the holiday. Oh, electronics was my sweet. If you wanted to make Ramses happy as a kid, you got him something electronics. And we are going to consider video game consoles as part of that too. Even though it can go under a video game category, I think the console itself counts as electronics. And there was even a year where they got me a TV. So far, as you can see, every electronic I am mentioning is a wonderful, wow, life-changing, I love you, mom and dad gift. So yeah, this is like the creme de la creme. When you get electronics, you know you've done very well for yourself, and your parents love you very much, and they always got me something that I really did enjoy, always.
Yeah, I'm going to say that the electronics category is something where I don't have any bad memories about as well, because due to the price, they're going to get you what you wanted, because it was substantially more expensive than, say, a simple G.I. Joe, He-Man toy, or a Transformer. Well, it could actually be cheaper than a Transformer if you bought one of the big ones, like Fortress Maximus. But that being said, due to that price difference, when I was a kid, I got a Nintendo because it was much cheaper than Fortress Maximus at the time. And I thought that was absolutely amazing. And due to that, I started getting all kinds of video games and Walkmans and stereos, the good old boom boxes with the CDs in them. And I even got VCRs. Believe it or not, I never got a TV. I usually just inherited the one that was used before my parents got a new one. And for me, Ramses, I would definitely say that for me, this would be an S+ tier, because every time I thought of electronics for Christmas, I knew I was going to get something I loved, and would use forever.
Oh, absolutely. They don't last forever. Like, my camera no longer works. The VCR obviously no longer works. The tape player no longer works. But as a kid, I got so much use out of this. Years and years and years. Like 10 years use out of all these items. And you still held on to it, hoping that somehow it would be fixed and work. But no, it never did again. But the memories just never go away. I loved every electronics that my parents got me. And even some relatives got me some great electronics. Yeah, it's an S tier. When you got these electronics, I put here a camera, and we have a computer. I think the Amiga might have even been a Christmas gift. I don't even remember. That was my favorite computer of all time. VCR, I still remember that card where they got me my VCR, my camera. It was such great memories. Yeah, electronics are S tier. When you got those electronics, it might have been like the only thing you got, but you know something? It was worth it. It was like, yes, all I want is this. Thank you. You got me everything I wanted. I'm very happy. I don't need the food. I don't need the bad toys. I don't need the crappy clothing. You got me the video camera I wanted with the tripod. Thank you very much. I'm very happy. So yes, electronics of the retro period. Now, not as much anymore. But yes, the retro period electronics were great. Oh, so good.
So that leads us into our next category of bad video games. Now, this is definitely a category where you were lied to as a kid, because guess what? You saw it in a Nintendo Power, Electronic Gaming Monthly or something, and it looked so great, and then they bought it for you, and it wasn't so great. Or the worst ones yet. Now, this one didn't happen to me very often, because, quite frankly, video games were expensive, so I didn't have very many relatives buying me generic Tiger Direct toys. Those things were fun until you learned of this little thing called a Game Boy. And then everybody else had a Game Boy, and you had Tiger Direct, and you were just like the unpopular, uncool kid. But until then, you were with the rest of your fans, because they didn't have Game Boy games. They had Tiger Direct with you, and once you learned of the Game Boy, I mean, that was sort of the end for Tiger games right there for us. I still remember in elementary school, just Tiger Direct games were just unfun, because they wouldn't do what they said they were doing, and they really weren't even a video game. It was just not as good. I still don't hate all the bad games I got, because I'm sometimes the one that said, give me this game, this looks absolutely cool, and then you play it and you find out it's a dud.
I was luckier than Vespor, because I never got the Tiger Electronic Portal. Never. No one, because I had a Game Boy, of course. I was, my parents knew better than that. But I got a lot of other things. Relatives, not usually my parents. My parents, again, knew better. Relatives would usually get me these pocket things, the slot machines, the poker games, things that you're like, wow, 5 seconds of fun as you watch like little displays on a thing go over and over again. But then you got the real bad video games. Like you got NES games that you're like, out of all the games to get, like sometimes relatives don't know any better. They see a game there. Like I got Section Z once, which I know probably a lot of people love. It's not a very good game. You get a $30 to $50 game and you hope it's good. And it sucks, and it's like such a wasted gift when you get one of those crappy.
Speaking of those bad video games, since you gave one, and we're talking about this, mine was a gift from my family. Was Codename Viper.
Oh no, that game stinks. So yeah, you get the bad video games, but I got the potpourri. Vesper got the Tiger, I got the little handheld cheap knockoff games that you bought at Radio Shack or like flea markets, that type of stuff. And then you get the bad NES or the bad Super Nintendo or even bad Game Boy games. Speaking of the portable stuff, you can even get bad Game Boy games. So when the games suck, it's a wasted gift is the way I look at it, because you're never going to play it. You play it one time, you're like, oh boy, Batman Forever, and you're like, well, no, I'm not going to play that forever, the game sucks. Or oh boy, Last Action Hero, yep, Vesper knows how much we love that. No, I never got that, but if I did, I'd be very upset. But yeah, bad video games could go either way. They could be sort of niche, they could be sort of fun, you can enjoy them for a moment, but I think it's going to fit exactly as Subpar Toys did. You can get a little bit of enjoyment out of it until you realize, wow, this thing sucks, and I don't have to look at it anymore.
Well, I'm actually this is going to be the one where I'm not going to give it a solid D, because I do believe it is literally on the cusp of being an F, because some of these bad video games could ruin a Christmas, because when you're done opening gifts and you're wanting to play them, you're thinking, oh man, I'm going to stay up all night playing these games, and then you play it for like 15 minutes, you're like, oh god, where's my Nintendo Power? Oh god, these are the instructions for this game? That's why I'm going to give it a D- non-F, because even with the Tiger Direct, as I said before, and even with bad Game Boy games, still played them. It just wasn't very often. But I more appreciate the fact that people actually put thoughts into them.
I was going to give it a D, you're giving it a D-. So either way, it's about the same. We're giving it the end of the D here. Yeah, this is going to be a D/D-. We'll see what happens with others, if it beats it or not. But yeah, it's D. You know why it's not F? For the reason we mentioned. It costs money. It's not cheap to get bad video games, so they spent money on you. You have to think of it that way. You get some enjoyment out of it, not a lot, but you don't realize it's bad until you play it. So it's like, oh, well, and your parents or your relatives have no idea what's good or bad. But it's when they get the cheap knockoff stuff, like the Tiger and you see in the picture, we had the little watch thing that sucked, and you have those portable games. That's the crappy stuff.
I remember, a lot of this was the companies lying to you, because back then we literally only had magazines. What was this internet thing when we were growing up?
Right, you just had to go by luck and guessing. That was it, So yeah, we're going to give it D, and if you have any fun, bad video game stories, absolutely, we'd love to hear it. So now we're going to get to a good category. We try to show not everything's bad. Bad clothing sucks. We already mentioned that. That's our worst subject so far. Good clothing. Now, what is good clothing? Good clothing is that New York Mets jersey with Mike Piazza on it. Yes. Or a Mets hat, yay! Or your favorite logo on your shirt. Like I got a Back to the Future shirt that I loved. Oh, that was one of my favorite gifts ever. It had the DeLorean on it. It had like the Back to the Future logo, roads where we're going on new roads. I loved it. So you can get good clothing. Oh, you can open it up and say, yes! Oh, I love this. Thank you so much. When you see good clothing, it's actually so satisfying. You're like, yes, thank you. I always wanted this. All right, thank you. So good clothing is great. When it's not practical clothing, and I don't think parents understand, because parents are thinking practically, but make your kid happy. It's the holiday season, whatever holiday they enjoy. Make sure when they open that gift and you're getting them clothing, it's something that they're going to be proud to wear. That shirt at school showing, oh, hey, look, I got my favorite character Pokemon on it. That hat that has your favorite sports team on it. A jersey that is actually expensive, good quality. Wow, I'm going to be so happy to wear this every game I go to. That's the type of stuff. Nice pants that you're going to be proud to wear and show off. The latest sneakers. Sneakers are actually a good clothing gift, too, if you get the ones that they actually like. So clothing can be a great gift. But please, please make sure, parents, that your kid actually likes what you're buying, and try to get something that they're into, either pop culture, popularity, sports. Get something that they will enjoy if you want to get a good clothing gift. Clothing could be good.
Just like the shirt I got here, it says, I work at Vespors Retro Reviews, and all I got was this stupid shirt.
Yeah, and I had to wear it. It's part of my contract. And it's still a good shirt. But it is embarrassing wearing it out there. But it's good clothing, folks. I'm forced to say that, yes.
Now, for me, I absolutely agree with Ramses. The clothes that you got, that your parents and your relatives listened to, and once again, for me, it was like Godzilla, it was Transformers, it was G.I. Joe growing up, and then when I got older, it was my favorite bands, things like this, your favorite hats, your favorite team jerseys, which, nobody knew who the San Diego Padres over here was, except for apparently Ray Kroc. But, that being said, these were things that I actually looked forward to. Now, I'm going to be a little bit of a caveat on this. To me, what I wanted the most out of any Christmas gift was to have fun with it. And while I absolutely loved good clothing, I couldn't necessarily have fun with it. I wore it, but, when you grew up in the 80s and the early 90s, everybody mostly had fun shirts anyways. It was sort of an expected thing, so it was nice to have. One thing that you should all take away from this is you can tell that both me and Ramses were a little bit mature for our age, because I still remember being thankful for any gift I got, even if I hated it with my guts.
Yep. I was always thankful. Yes, always.
I love the clothes I got. I love the hats I got because they put some thought into it. But to me, clothing was not on the same level as electronics. I'm going to say that clothing, good clothing, was a B plus for me. Almost an A. I loved it, but I would still rather have the bicycle than an Optimus Prime t-shirt.
I got some great Mets stuff, and I'm a big Mets fan, it's not a secret. And when you get that stuff, it's not cheap. Sports memorabilia is expensive. So when you got that new hat for $20 back in the 80s, that's a lot of money. When you got that Mets jersey for $120, it's a lot of money. I got a Mets jacket once for my parents that I wore for years. Clothing that's good can be very special, but is it bicycle level? I don't know. I got a lot of use out of it. But again, we have to compromise, so it's going to get B+. A- divided by B+ is either A- or B+, so we're right on the cusp. I'll go B+ though, but I think it's going to be the first B no matter what, so we'll just keep it that nothing's going to beat the good clothing in the B category.
Unless it does.
I don't think there's anything left that can, but hey, that's the fun of the tier list. Let's see what else is coming up. So yeah, we're going to go B+ on it, but I really would have given A- because I do think clothing is special when it's good. When it's good, it hits just right. But we have to compromise. That is the rule here on Vespor Retro Reviews as we do our retro rankings. So we're going to do both gift cards in a row because I want to talk about both separately. It's very interesting. We have bad gift cards, and then after that, we're going to do good gift cards. Bad gift cards are just what the name is. It's to a place you don't like. It's to a drugstore for $10, and that's the example we use here. It's like, why are you giving a 10-year-old kid drugstore gift card for $10? And now we're going to have a discussion because both of us have gotten bad gift cards, and we still do to this day, by the way. Even as adults, you still get bad gift cards as gifts. And what are bad gift cards? Bad gift cards are, I can't think of what to get little Timmy or little Jimmy. I'm just going to quickly run to the store, get the cheapest thing I can find. Oh, I'm at Dwayne Reed. I'm going to get him the Dwayne Reed card for $10. They'll just get some candy or something. Instead of buying the candy while you're there, no. Little Timmy has to go now to the store themselves. Oh, well, they can feel like they're spending something. No, little Timmy doesn't care about spending something. Give him the gift. He's opening boxes. He doesn't want a piece of plastic that now his parent has to take him there, and they have to find something in the store. You can only buy it from this store, and it's not even a store they like. And food is the worst. Food gift cards for gifts. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I think it's the worst thing. Don't give me McDonald's card. Don't give me Burger King. Kids do not want restaurant gift cards for $10 or $20. It is a waste of time. Do not get them that. You might as well buy them a Big Mac and say, here you go. I mean, it is a waste of time. There are some bad gift cards that could be good gift cards, like movies can go either way. There's certain things. Online stuff can go either way. It's hard to say what's bad, but I have my own category of bad. Bad is saying that the kid doesn't like the store, the kid doesn't want to buy anything here, or the kid can't find anything, or very low value. And I hate to be like this, but if you're getting a $5 or $10 gift card, don't bother. It is a waste of money and waste of time. Just buy them a box of candy if you're going to be that cheap. And I hate to be as blunt like that, but I remember too many times getting bad gift cards that never got used, by the way. I probably had a stack of them. I cleaned out eventually, but I probably had a whole stack of just wasted gift cards that never ever got spent and just might as well have been garbage.
Well, I had the same experiences growing up as well, in the fact that you're buying me these gift cards, and obviously you couldn't find me anything, so instead of putting in that wonderful gift card that you bought at the drugstore, instead of putting money in, you put in a gift card to the same place that you bought the Christmas card from. And I never liked that fact. It was always cards to the places where you're like, why didn't you get this from Kmart? Why didn't you get this from another department store? Why did you not get this from any place else that we go to except for when we're sick? Like at CVS or Rite Aid or any other pharmacy or drugstore. No, it always had to be from those places for it to be a bad gift card. And to me, I absolutely hated them because, once again, the only time we usually went there is when we were sick or not feeling well. So I never had good thoughts of those places growing up, and I never wanted to go there to spend a Christmas gift. At that point, you're better off just giving me money, because then I can go anywhere and get it. But these bad gift cards did serve a purpose. It means they literally were trying to buy you something fun for your Christmas gift, but they failed miserably because they'd rather give you a $10 drugstore gift card than pay $5 or $6 for a He-Man or a G.I. Joe.
I agree, and I'm giving you F because I hated it. I hated it. Anytime you get me with food, especially, I am not a very big eater. You're getting me a place I can't even eat at. You know nothing about me, and you're guessing I'm gonna like your favorite food place for $10 to $20. No, I rip the card up or you give it away. That's not a gift to me. Don't bother giving me bad gift cards to restaurants I can't eat at. Don't give me a drugstore as a kid, and that happened so many times. You can see the person put zero effort into this. It is an F just because the lack of effort and the lack of knowing the person you're buying something for. This is a, oh, I can't think of anything, here you go. Just give me the $10 bill. If you're going to be that cheap, I'd rather have the money that I can go anywhere. No, you give me a very specific card to a place I don't even like. It's worthless to me. I'm giving F just because I had so many cards that were garbage. It was worthless. Even now, I still get it at work when they have to give you something. Oh, here you go. I'm sure you like going to XYZ place. No, I don't. I really don't. But thank you anyway, you know?
For me, gift cards are definitely down there, but I didn't hate them as much as Ramses due to the fact that I could still spend at least the gift card at the store to get a GoBot. At least I get a Subpar toy at least. But that being said, he gave it an F. To me, it's a D-, and that would definitely put this in the F category and F+. And I do believe that gift cards would definitely be above bad clothing, because at least here you can try to choose something to recover it if you do, but it's definitely one of those things that I did not want to see in any Christmas card. But here's what I did want to see in the Christmas cards. I wanted to see gift cards to Kmart, to my favorite department store, to KB Toys, to Children's Palace, if you remember that. These were things I did want to see because my parents would go out of their way to take me to these places, spend these gift cards, because when you got a good gift card, it wasn't a small amount. It was usually enough to get you, if you saved up your other gift cards, or even money, you could afford an actual video game, or a really expensive Transformer. These, to me, were as good as money, with the only drawback being that you had to go to a specific store to buy what you want. Now, that wasn't necessarily a bad thing, because to me, good gift cards were any place where I loved to frequent with my family that had toys and electronics and music. If they had any of that, this was just as good as money. The only problem, though, that we did not mention with these gift cards is that sometimes, not so much in the 80s, but nowadays, as you got up into the 90s, they would charge you a small percent to pay and activate those gift cards, so you're actually spending more for the gift card than the money that's being put on it. And it's now gotten even worse with the American Express and Visa and MasterCard gift cards, where they're like, oh, I want to get this $20 gift card. Well, you can use it at any of these stores, but you're going to have to pay an extra $5 on top of it, so you end up spending more than you have. But that being said, I have absolutely wonderful memories of these gift cards, and I would never say no, and I love them.
Toys R Us, that's gonna be my key word. My family, my friends, everyone knew. Get Ramses the Toys R Us gift card for a nice amount. He will be very, very happy. Oh, we don't know what to get Ramses. Just get me a Toys R Us gift card. I will be very happy. I bought so many of my own Transformers because my parents and my friends and my relatives did this. Toys R Us. You give me a Toys R Us gift card, I will get exactly what I want, and I was always very happy. And sure, sometimes it went a little over, so what, you throw a little cash, but it feels so great. You whip out the car for $50. Oh, it's $55. Here you go. Here's the $5 for these toys. You felt like you're only spending $5 for like this whole stack of Transformers, wrestling figures, G.I. Joes, you know, all the great stuff I used to love. Video games, you can get a nice game for $50 plus. You know, it was the best gift ever. It was a great gift card. And then there was Best Buy, and there was like music places. Like Best Buy was very good when they were hit. Circuit City also, when they were big, you know, it was great getting gift cards because I loved electronics. As you can see, it's already very high ranking. So when you get a gift card, you're forced to get something at your favorite store for a lot of money. Oh no, what will I ever do? Be very happy and pick out what my parents wanted to get me. They didn't know what to get me, so here you go. Ramses, go pick out what you want at your favorite store. I think it's a great gift. The problem is you have to remember to spend it. You have to think of what you want. You have to make sure they have things in stock. That's the problem with gift cards. You're only limited to what they actually have at the time that you actually get to go there, or you save them. I always stockpiled a lot of Toys R Us cards, and I was able to get like $200 worth of Toys R Us gifts because you stockpiled these cards. So that was great. Yes.
To me, good gift cards was actually better than the bicycle because of just what Ramsey said. You could stockpile these things, and because of it, you could get something you really want. Just, you know, wait for a birthday or some other holiday to come up that they you'd exchange gifts with people with. So to me, I would say that this is A+ gift. Definitely better than a bicycle, but nowhere near as fun as an electronics.
Yeah, I think it's A+ too, especially when it's your good store. You know, it's not just the value. You know, if you get a good gift card to a place you don't like, it still sucks. Like, I got many book gift cards. It's like, I'm not a big reader, thanks, and whatever, that's like a C. But when it's to your favorite places, when you can really get that stuff you want, oh, absolutely. It's an A+. Good gift cards hit just right. It really does. And it makes you feel like you're shopping in a weird way for your parents. You're getting a special gift that they wanted you to get from this store, so it feels very special. It's more personable than money is. Like, everyone might think, which on that category is money is the best. No, I think a good gift card is great because it's at least showing, Ramses, I know you like this store. Ramses, this is how much I wanted to spend on you. Ramses, go get your gift. And you're like, okay, hey, if you're going to twist my arm, okay, I'll do it. And it feels real good and everybody's happy. So now we're going to talk about money, which is a very weird category, because money is really that gift where I have no idea what to get Jimmy. I have no idea what to do. Put $30 in an envelope. Here you go from Grandma Jimmy. There you go from Uncle Timmy. Here you go. Money. It's a weird category. I think money is good in that you can spend it anywhere in the United States of America. Yes, money is cash is king, they always say, but it's impersonal. You know, I'm going to be that guy. Oh, you got me $30. Thank you. You know, that's why a gift card is better. At least you're thinking, hey, Ramses likes Toys R Us. I'm going to get in that. Cash is, oh, I'm not in the mood to shop for anything. I'll just give him money. He'll figure out what to get. Money to a kid, it's nice, but it's like, what does a kid do with money? They waste it on nonsense. It gets lost. Their parents hold on to it. You never really see it. It sits in an envelope somewhere. Money is impersonal. It's great. Cash is king. You want to give me $50 or $30 back in the 80s? That's great. It's like, all right, thanks for the money. I wish you could have asked me what I like. I wish you could have gotten that little extra step. But I will always take money. You're never going to hear Ramses upset about money. It's just the problem is I don't know if money gets spent for the gift that it was intended to. Money just becomes oh, I need to buy food. I need to get a drink. I need to see a movie. Here's some money. It's not really a gift. It's sort of like, you give me some extra spending cash.
I'm going to have to agree with Ramses. This is incredibly impersonal. Now, I absolutely loved it. My grandparents always, if they didn't buy me a gift, would always give me $100. And I absolutely love that $100. And I saved them up. Believe it or not, I put them in the bank because I was taught to be frugal with my money because of my grandparents. It is impersonal, but it's not a bad thing. It's definitely better if you're going to spend it on anything than any gift cards. You can spend it anywhere, but usually never got spent on what it was meant for. They wanted you to buy some heartfelt gift. It ended up buying me $5 worth of quarters at the arcade for tokens. I spent it, but like with all things, I was very thankful for it. I would honestly say this would be, for me, a C. It's definitely better than any subpar toy, but for me, when I was a kid, because like I said, I was more mature, it wasn't as good as even getting like a candy bar as a stocking stuffer. Because at least then you know this is to make you happy, and as a kid, you're like, I can't play with money. I mean, it's very important for us to survive now, because as Ramsey said, cash is king, but as a kid, I didn't want to see money.
That's the problem. We're doing this in a retro. You have to remember that. Everyone's like, what? You're talking about money? Yes, from preschool to high school, when you get money in an envelope, it does not mean anything. It's a piece of paper that you have to now have your parents take you somewhere to put it, or it's being put in a magical place called a bank. It doesn't mean anything. You know, it's great. Cash is wonderful, but it doesn't mean anything to a kid. You know, even the food, the books, the good clothing that we're ranking higher, because I'm going to give this a C too. I totally agree with you. That means something. Food. Oh, hey, I got you your favorite thing. Oh, book. I got you this. I got you something personable. That means something. You're going to wear this. You're going to read this. You're going to eat this. Money. It's in my hand. What do I do with this? Oh, I got to spend this somewhere. I guess eventually I'll think of something to do with this, you know. Unless you had that magical gift that you really wanted, that's different. But I still think it's a C, because if you had that magical gift, the parent or relative could have gone that little extra step and gotten you what you wanted for that money. So that's the way I look at it. But it's a C. You're never going to be upset to get cash, but you're not going to be like, oh boy, this is the best gift ever. Unless it's $1,000, then hey, I'll say it's the greatest gift ever, you know.
And that leads us to probably one of the greatest things on this list, and that is great toys. And what are we talking about? Great toys. We're talking about, I could get like all these Voltron lions, or they're just going to go outright and buy me all of them together in Voltron form, the die cast with the little plastics on them. I still have my old Voltron. I remember this. This was like one of the greatest toys for me ever. And also Metroplex. Oh, I wanted that. I got it. This was like a mega gift. These were things I absolutely couldn't live without. And later on, these toys were just absolutely amazing. These were things that put you not only on par with your other friends, but they didn't have these toys as well, and that's why you wanted them, and therefore you had Metroplex. Your other friends had Omega Supreme, but we all know that Metroplex is a much better and cooler thing because he turned into a city, and all Omega Supreme did was require batteries and go in a circle. I could do that with Hot Wheels. No, great toys were something you wanted as a kid. It didn't have to necessarily be expensive, but they were something you wanted from the bottom of your heart, and you got it. It may have cost a little bit more, and I do want to point a little stipulation on this one. For me, when it says great toys, they were the more expensive figures that I wanted, and I could only get them for like a birthday or for Christmas. These were things that were above and beyond. I absolutely love these things, and they always brought me great joy. As a young kid, I get one of these, and I'll be like, well, I don't need to open up anything else. I got what I wanted.
Crypticon was my big gift, and I still remember getting this. My parents hid in the closet, and I knew it all along. I was super excited. They're like, no, Ramses, don't look in the closet. I looked at the closet when they didn't know it. It was Tripticon, and then when I got it on the day of, oh my god, it was the greatest experience ever. Just getting a toy you really want, it's just such a great feeling. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Vesper's right. Expensive toys are great. If someone got the USS flag, that's like the greatest gift ever. No, I never got that. If someone got Fortress Maximus Brickabot, that's great. It's a brick for $200. Congratulations. But no, getting like a huge expensive toy that you really, really, really wanted is such a great experience. But then getting like whole complete sets, like my parents would buy Star Wars figures, like the whole entire set, or Turtles figures, you know, relatives would get, or wrestling figures. That was great too. You know, anytime you would get just more than one, like a whole toy line of just some of your favorite figures that you still cherish to this day. I still have most of my toys that I grew up with. He-Man figures, Thundercat figures. When you got in box just like rows of 5 characters from Thundercats, that was like the greatest feeling ever. Great toys are great toys. I mean, there's a reason why action figures were just so popular when we were growing up. It was the greatest feeling ever to open the box and see your favorite figure, but not just one. Great toys usually means you got more than one. It wasn't just like one $8 figure. You got a whole assortment of them at once. A year's worth of playtime until you were able to get more figures for birthdays and other occasions. Yes, great toys is that creme de la creme category. I loved it. Anytime you got the great expensive toys, great, but anytime you got full sets too, wonderful. So I'm going to rate this one very high, Vester. Absolutely. I love, that's probably one of my favorite gifts getting was all these action figures. I still have to this day.
I would definitely say that this is another solid S tier for me. Because, like I said, I could get one of these gifts, and it didn't have to be like these super mega toys, but anytime I got a toy that I really wanted, it made my holiday season that much more special. So I'm going to rate this an S for me.
Yeah, it's an S for me too. I mean, I'm still, as you know from our show, we're still toyophiles here. We love our action figures. We love our retro toys. We love talking about it. We review Transformers episodes. We talk about G.I. Joe. We talk about Voltron. Yes, great toys were great toys. I still remember the Voltron. I still have my Voltron, and it's pretty good shape too. Great toys for Christmas and the holidays is just what the category means. It is great. It is memorable. It is exactly what you wanted, and your parents. And Cabbage Patch Kids, I was a kid during the Cabbage Patch Kids years. My parents waited in the line. They got me and my siblings Cabbage Patch Kids. Yeah, it might seem silly now, but that was a very big deal. They waited, and they just made sure that we got it. Cabbage Patch Kids, yeah, I still have my Cabbage Patch Kids, by the way, so, and one day I'll show you that stuff too. But that's what I'm talking about, great toys. When your parents go that extra effort, spend that little something on a very special toy, and I'm sure a lot of you have the Tickle Me Elmo stories. Not me, I'm too old for that, but I'm sure a lot of you have the other big gifts, the Furbies, you know, all these gifts that your parents had to go out of the way. That's what the great toys are, where they really had to wait on the line, get lucky with it, get you that toy. You're the one that got it. It's a special feeling. It really is. It's that's what gifts for this holiday, for kids, by the way, not for adults, for kids. It is those great toys, yes. All right, so now we're going to get to an interesting category that's sort of out of date now. So you see, this is part of the retro show we're doing here. The next two categories are very retro because you don't really get this stuff anymore for children and kids that we're talking about in the retro period. But in the 70s, 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, music was done on either record, CD, or cassettes, and then we had, of course, MP3s, and that's different altogether. You would get someone a Napster card, I guess, for that. But yes, music, it was a great gift, and it's no secret, I'm a big Weird Al fan. So when someone got me a cassette tape and it was the latest Weird Al album, oh, I went crazy. I was into movie soundtrack. When someone got me the Back to the Future soundtrack, and I think it was on CD, yes, it was on CD, oh, I loved it. So when you get me a good music gift, that means you know what I like. Now, this can go under a bad category, too. When you can't think of what to get me and you're getting me like Poison or Megadeth or something, well, no, Ramses isn't into that. That's a wasted gift. But usually, very usually, that didn't happen. People knew my music taste and they usually were pretty in tune with it. Music's fun getting. I remember I had a huge record collection, too. I was part of the record age also. Whole stacks of records. You could just listen to it anytime you want. Whole stacks of cassette tapes. I probably still have all of them. And CDs. Yeah, music is a great gift, but you have to make sure kid likes it. If you're getting them garbage, don't bother. It's a waste of time. If you're getting them, now that's what I call music number 47. Well, if the kid likes that music, good. But if they don't get them that. So you do have to put a little effort into making sure. But I would spend many hours listening to the music I got. I told you I had the double-decker thing. I had a record player downstairs. I had the Walkman. I would listen to music nonstop. And a lot of that stuff was music I received during the holidays. So yes, music can be a great gift. Just again, the caveat is make sure the kid likes the music you're getting or it's a very wasted gift. Yes.
For me, music was one of those things that I really did not receive much of whenever I was a kid. Basically because of the fact that whenever I wanted something to listen to, my parents usually had no trouble every now and then, not often, but they'd say, oh, I'll get you the cassettes. Because for some reason, our family, we went from records, we skipped 8 tracks altogether, we went to cassettes, and then I literally have a very small CD collection that came from the fact that there was a pawn store not far from here, and they would sell for $1 a piece, so most of my CD collection came from a 20, from like a birthday, or cutting a yard, or something like that. I get a bunch of CDs, so I never got them much as a gifts, and the one time I did get a cassette for a gift, it was my friend being super cheap. I had literally just bought him a wonderful new CD. I had gotten a new boombox, and I was wanting new CDs, and then his excuse was, hey, I thought you'd want a cassette, not a CD. And I was absolutely furious with him because, once again, I told them, hey, could you please get me a CD? It's not like it's much more than $5 more than a cassette at the time. But most of the time, I associate bad memories with gifts for music. And because of that, I really see music for me, and this is probably where Rank's going to have a big difference, as a C, like a solid C. It's like, to me, it's better than money. It's so easy to get a bad song or a bad album or something that nobody knew that you wanted, because bands had different albums, and guess what? Half the time they wouldn't get the right ones for you.
We are on different tiers, yes. I'm not giving it an A, but I would give it a solid B, absolutely. I have many memories, and I'm not a big music file, by the way. I'm not really into music, but when it's music I like, and you're really getting something specific, I spent so long. I remember sitting at that record player nonstop playing Sesame Street music. I remember sitting there playing albums to some of my favorite bands in the 80s. I remember having cassette tapes. My Weird Al obsession, I must have listened to tapes nonstop. A lot of the stuff I got during the holidays. So we are going to disagree a little bit, but we're still one tier away. So it's not like we're going from A to F here. We're going B, C. So we just have to decide, is this after food or before money, I guess, is where we have to decide. So I'm giving B, you're giving C. That's a C+. It goes before money. I guess that's how we average it out. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and give it to you, because a lot of mine have been ruined because of that one friend of mine being cheap. So I can say I'm biased. I'll say it's not as good as food, but definitely not. I'll give it to you, the B.
All right, I think that's very giving. You see, that's what the holidays are all about, folks.
Now, moving on to something that I do have wonderful memories on is VHS, and what Ramses didn't put on here was Betamax, baby.
Oh, I didn't have no Betamax.
And he also forgot laser CDs.
I didn't get I didn't have a laser player until the 2000s when I bought that myself.
But I only got VHS and an occasional Betamax way, way, way back in the day. But that being said, these things were wonderful. They had your favorite movies, and the best part to me wasn't, believe it or not, getting those wonderful movies I wanted. Like, I got a complete collection of Godzilla. I had, unfortunately, just episodes, because, guys, they still love to do it to this day. They love to put out, here's 3 cartoons from, like, Transformers or something like that. You never got all of them. And you might get one cartoon that you really loved in particular on it. So, they were hit or miss. The thing about these VHS and DVD movies wasn't necessarily buying them for me. It was the fact when they came out that I could go to the movie store with my parents and my friends, and we could rent whatever we wanted. And to me, I absolutely loved that. If I got those same movies as a Christmas gift, it was even better because that means they paid attention to what I was renting and they knew what I loved, and it was just a term of endearment that I absolutely came to love. Although I did get Transformers the movie as a Christmas gift, and I was absolutely certain that they hated my guts because you can't kill Optimus. That's unforgivable. You don't give such a sad, sad movie for a Christmas gift. I do think that this is definitely one of my more favorite gifts to get just because of all the sentimentality involved in them.
Yeah, I loved getting VHS DVD movies, and I didn't put the other categories because I didn't have that. I didn't know you had a Laserdisc player, Vespor. I would have put that on here.
No, I didn't have one of those. I had friends that had them, and those were expensive, so we couldn't really get them as gifts. But they were always happy when they got one.
Absolutely, you can throw them at people too. So I loved getting this because, when you're getting this, you're not getting crappy movies. Really, if you look at your collection, you might see some bad things you got. You're not getting that for holiday. You get that at random times. When you get the box and you're opening it, it's Transformers, it's Thundercats, it's Voltron, it's great stuff. It's TV shows that you like. It's the movie that came out. I remember in 1989 they bought Batman and some other movies. It wasn't just like one movie. I remember as a very young kid they bought all the clamshell Disney, and it wasn't just one, it was a whole collection of them. Love Bug, and you had Mickey Mouse. You had such great movies and such great memories. What kid didn't love opening up a box and seeing a whole row of like, oh boy, all these adventures that I'm going to be able to watch over and over and over again. It was the greatest feeling as a kid. And it might seem silly to people now, like VHS, where, you had to watch it all the way straight through. You had to rewind it and start all over again. You couldn't skip through it really without the fast forward rewind. It was what we grew up on. It was so enjoyable. I remember so many moments of just watching movies, just getting movies, just enjoying this. And even with DVDs, me and Vespor still give DVDs and Blu-rays to each other now. It's still a wonderful gift. If you know what movie your friend is going to like, there is nothing wrong with saying, here you go. It's something that I know you're going to like and can add to your collection. There's nothing wrong with getting a good movie to somebody that you know is going to like the movie. And again, the caveat is don't get a movie they're not going to like, because that has happened. Not for Christmas, for other, birthday and stuff. I've gotten movies I didn't like, and that's a whole different story itself. That sucks. But when you get stuff you like, oh, it's a great feeling because you're going to be able to watch this thing over and over and over again.
I'm going to actually rate this as a solid A+. I would still rather have great toys, and I would still rather have gift cards, but I do feel it's definitely in the A+ category because movies were great, but once again, you saw the movie, you'd have to put it away for a little bit. It wasn't quite as enjoyable for me, but I definitely think it was an A+.
The way we described it, yes. If it was just one random movie for $10 that you didn't really love, but it was like whatever. I remember some friend for my birthday, by the way, got me Big, and we already talked about how much I don't like that movie. That's a horrible gift. Don't give me a movie I don't like. But you got me the Transformer collection, you got me the Batman movies, you got me, Die Hard movies. Yes, that I'm going to like. Little Ramsis is going to be very happy. So yeah, it is an A+, as long as, again, the caveat, you get something that the kid actually is into, and you know the kid, and you're buying the movies and sets and TV shows that they like. Then it's an A+. Otherwise, it would be a C, because it's like, it's a movie, but I'm not going to watch it. Well, we've reached our final category, and this is going to be the best for last. I don't know. We are a retro channel, and we do a lot of video games here. So video games was a very big part of our holidays, I'm sure. A very big part. And now, getting good video games. We already talked about how horrible getting bad video games is. Getting good video games is a very, very special category. So what does that mean? It means, oh my god, you got me GoldenEye on the N64. Grin, I'm happy. You got me Legend of Zelda. I remember getting Zelda 2 from my grandmother. One of the greatest gifts. I remember getting Mega Man 2. I remember getting PS2 games. I remember getting Game Boy games. I remember getting the Game Boy itself. All right, these are just those special, yes, this is what I wanted. Oh my god, thank you so much. Hours and hours and hours of enjoyment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're going to get to add to your collection. You get to build up on your love of video games. Yes, I get to brag. I get to show off. I get to talk about it. I get to enjoy this. Great video games are just that. It is a great gift when you get lucky. Now, usually you had to tell the parent or relative what you want. They have no idea. They're not going to guess that this is the game you want. So it was never really a surprise because you had to say, oh, hey, this new game, Super Mario Bros. 2 just came out. Can you please get that for me? Or, hey, can you get me Grand Theft Auto Vice City? I really want that. Yes, I know it's for older, but please get it. Yeah, okay, good, they got it. That's the secret with the good video games. You had to tell them, unless another relative already said, hey, mom or dad, Ramsis is going to want this. You might want to get it. It's very popular. That's a fun surprise that happened a few times. So yeah, great video games are those games that you played for a month. You just love having. You can always look back on. I remember Final Fantasy 2. That was one of my favorite gifts ever. The Super Nintendo one, by the way, not the horrible Final Fantasy 2 from Japan. So yes, good video games are good. And then when you get the system also along with the games, you're in heaven. It is the greatest experience ever. As long as it's not like the Virtual Boy or the Game.com or something like that. Yes, then you're upset. Or an Atari 2600 Junior when everyone else is getting the NES, then Jimmy is disappointed.
Good video games is what I lived for. That was what I wanted above all else. And the best part was, and I knew good video games were always gotten with input. And there are many ways. Some of my friends actually got like the JC Penney's catalog. They circle what they want for their parents. Me, I had refined parents, and they got me this little thing called Nintendo Power. So they would come up to me and go, "Little Vesper, what would you like for Christmas?" And then they would say, "Circle 3 games that you would like." And I would not know which one of those 3 games I would get, but I knew that I would get them. Now, don't forget, before GameStop took over everything, we had Babbage's Electronics Boutique, all these things. They didn't really develop till a little bit later, so they had to order these. And depending on if you were lucky or not, you would get it. And you may think this is funny, but when I was younger, I wanted Super Mario Brothers 2, and I got lucky, and my parents were able to order. I did not know that I was going to get it because everybody else around here had sold out. There was none of it. And then when you finally get something you wanted, and then you play it, it did not matter that this game was not Super Mario Brothers. They got it for me, and that was one of the things I remember the most about. I got much better video games than that. But the point of the matter is that this is such a great and wonderful thing that I don't even think we can necessarily rate this on the chart, Ramses.
Oh no, he's doing it again, folks.
So through the magic of Christmas...
Oh, Vespor, what's this? The star on top of the tree. All right, and he's moving it in right now. So this is considered your best of the best of what you get as a kid for Christmas gifts.
The reason for it is that great toys were absolutely great. Electronics were even better, but these were kind of rare because you didn't have the greatest toys every year. When Nintendo came out on all these other game systems, you always wanted a video game because there were so many to choose from. And the best part was, because of the price, whenever you got it, it was always one you wanted. And I always looked forward to that. It got to the point when I was growing up, if I didn't get a video game for Christmas, I thought, oh God, worst Christmas ever. They gave me, dress clothes, bag gift cards to CVS, and money. It's like, I just want a video game. Let me throw it in my Nintendo. Let me throw it in the Super Nintendo. Let me enjoy this glorious pixelated adventure for all that it was worth.
Yes, I agree. I always got video games throughout my childhood. From the Atari, ColecoVision, and television. I told you I had all these systems. I was very, very lucky as a young Ramses. And then, of course, NES, Game Boy, and then Super Nintendo, and then N64. And after that, then I was on my own because I wasn't a kid anymore. But those were the great, great, great years. Yeah, when you opened up the box, you saw that glorious Nintendo or Atari or Coleco boxes in there. You're like, yes, thank you so much. And it is a good feeling when the parent can't think of what to get. What games are you into, Jimmy? Oh, you want that? Okay, we'll see what I can do. And then, sure enough, they got it. They were the greatest parents ever. So that's our look back at our holiday/Christmas tier list. And I think this is a pretty good tier list of retro rankings for Vespor and Ramsis. This is gifts we have gotten over our childhood from about 1980 to the early 2000s. I think after that, then you're adult, and then it's very different. But this is retro kids, Vespor and myself, our rankings of gifts we gotten. And as you can see, it's the whole spectrum. We got great video games. That was our top creme de la creme. And then you got the horrible gift cards that you want nothing to do with, the clothing you're never going to wear, the toys that are crappy, and the video games that are crappy. That stuff sucks.
But we also want to point out, this is our view as we were growing up, and I also want to emphasize, even with bad clothing being at the bottom of the list, I was still thankful for it because, well, it wasn't something I wanted. It came from the heart of the people. They gave it to me. It's like I had a much more mad-on and hatred for freaking oranges and apples for Christmas than I did bad clothing. So
yeah, we are going to give that caveat because this is a holiday Christmas themed episode here for Vespor Retro Reviews. Anything you get, we appreciate, folks. There's many people that don't get things, and I know Ramses has to be all sappy and serious here, but we do. This is a holiday episode, and the holiday is that time of giving. If you're aunt or your grandparents or a friend or acquaintance got you something, it's not exactly what you want, it's not something useful, you say, oh, thank you so much, George, I really appreciate it. Here you go, here's your gift. Happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and you feel happy. That's what it's about. Yes, you're gonna get bad gifts, you're gonna get great gifts. Don't only be like, I only want good gifts. And I've known too many kids like this, even in my own family. I've never been like that. I've always been very appreciative. Renz has always said, thank you so much. It's not always gonna be something you want, but you know something, they went out of their way to get you something, so be it. Appreciate the stuff that you really love, and appreciate the stuff you don't love, because they gave you something. It might not be what you want, but they went that little extra step to say, here you go, Ramses, have a happy holiday, and then you say thank you, and you appreciate it. So just a little message from me and Vespor here as we end our 2025 here. We're moving into 2026. Very hard to believe, but it's always fun to look back at our past to see what it was like getting gifts as we grew up.
That's right. So please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and
ring that bell, and have a very happy holiday, a very Merry Christmas, very happy Hanukkah. Enjoy 2025 while it's still here. And thank you for joining us as always. We will see you as we head into 2026 and beyond, as we look at the past, in the present, and well into the future. Take care, everybody.
And have a very happy holidays and a Merry, Merry Christmas.